This video, we're going to go over a very important part of the home buying process, is the official wood destroying insect report done by your inspector. The reason this is important because there's certain rules and regulations that the inspector has to follow, and you need to understand these things before you go in the house and having the inspection done. And right here is each state should have one of these. If not, I'm not sure which all states do, but most states have this form, not this exact form, but a form like it. And what it covers is, this is the A through F about the scope of inspection and what is required from the inspector itself. And you need to understand each and every one of these in detail while you're having to. That's why in another video I have told you to have the inspector sit down with this form with you before you do the inspection, so you understand what exactly is going to go on with the inspection and how it's going to be done. Okay, scope of inspection. I'm going to skip A because it's pretty self-explanatory. B is very important. B says the inspection is limited to those parts of the structures that are visible and accessible at the time of inspection. Examples of accessible areas include, but not limited to, 1, areas concealed by wall coverings, furniture, equipment, and stored articles. We discussed that in another video about when the inspector is doing why you should have the home completely empty if you can while the inspector is doing it, because this thing covers up a lot of areas that cannot be inspected. This means this is a visual inspection only. The inspector cannot tear up, remove things to find wood destroying organisms or insects. So they're only based on visual inspections. Reason being, if they damage something, they could be sued or have to repair damages that have not got permission to do that. So they cannot do that. Inspection does not cover any condition damage which was not visible in or on the structure at the time of inspection, but which may be revealed in the course of repair or replacement work. This is where a lot of problems come in about lawsuits that I work on these type of issues. After inspection is done, the new homeowner starts remodeling. Then after they removed the face of the house or remove a wall or something, that's when they find termite damage. Again, this is an issue that has to be looked at closely by myself or somebody outside. Both parties come in to determine if something was missed at the time of inspection. Section C of this: due to characteristics and behaviors of various wood-destroying insects, it may not always be possible to determine the presence of infestation without defacing or removing parts of the structure being inspected. Previous damaged trim, wall surface, etc. is frequently repaired prior to the inspection with putty, spackling, tape, or other decorative devices. Again, I talked about discussing this with your inspector about the homeowner disclosure. Again, things can be covered up with paint, putty. Some things will be removed, replaced to hide the termites. This may be intentional or non-intentional. But again, that's why I talked about pre-inspections. Because in pre-inspection, they find out what the issues are, they repair it, have another inspector to come in and clear it. So this information from the homeowner, the seller's disclosure document of what was with the house is very important to look at before any inspection is done or before the house has been inspected. Damage that is concealed or repaired may not be visible except by defacing the surface appearance. We discussed that. The WDI inspecting company cannot guarantee or determine that work performed by a previous pest control company, as indicated by visual evidence of previous treatment, has rendered the pest inactive. Again, we were talking about during the inspection, they find that the house shows signs of previous infestation. The seller's disclosure should show information of what was done and how it was done. Unless the seller has not been in the home very long and it was done prior to them being that home during that period of time. So again, it's something that an outside person will have to look at and just investigate to see what exactly happened. D, visible evidence of active previous infestation of listed woodish joint insect reported. It should be assumed that some degree of damage is present. This is kind of vague on what called damage. I discussed previous video of what a cosmetic and what structural damage is. Again, refer to that video or contact me and we discussed what the difference between cosmetic and structural damage is. E, if visible evidence is reported, it does not imply that damage should be repaired or replaced. Inspectors of the inspection company are usually not engineers, builder, or qualified to give an opinion regarding the degree of structural damage. Evaluation of damage or any corrective action should be performed by a qualified expert. Again, going back to what we were saying before about structural damage, a structural engineer would have to come in to see if there's anything in the house is going to fall down or whatever, or exactly needs replaced or repaired. F, and this is highlighted, this is not a structural damage report or a warranty as to the absence of wood storing insects. Again, with the limitation of a visible inspection from an inspector, this form is only good for the day of inspection, meaning that termites or other wood storing insects or organisms can present themselves later after the fact, a day, even a day after the inspection. It depends on what time of year or what time of insect we're talking about. G, if termite treatment, including pesticide baits or other methods, have been recommended by the treating company must provide a diagram of the structure inspected, proposed for treatment, labeled pesticide to be used, and complete details of warranty, if any. The warranty should specify the areas of the structure of covered warranty renewal options approved by a certified applicant in termite category. Information regarding treatment or any warranty should be provided that the party contracting for such services to any prospective buyer of the property. The inspecting company has no duty to provide such information to any person other than the contracting party. So basically what this is telling you is that if a treatment is recommended by the inspector or the company inspecting the home, they have to provide a certain amount of information to you, what I just explained. Now, this is not true for all states. This is true for the state of Texas. I'm reading from the state of Texas form. You'll need to get with your state regulatory agency what's needed to be provided by the pest control company for treatment of the house prior to any treatment of the home. H, there are a variety of termite control options offered by pest control companies. These options will vary in cost, efficacy, areas treated, warranties, treatment techniques, and renewal options. I discussed this in an earlier video about having the seller treat the house. Remember, we talked about you expecting one thing and the seller did another. This is what that information is right there, to let you know that you need to find out if the seller is going to treat it, what exactly they're going to do. If they're not going to do what they do, then you need to negotiate with them on what needs to be done to the house to make it right. Again, a lot of this information is not found out until the signing of the contracts or the mortgages, but again, they'll tell you that it's been taken care of and it's maybe not what you thought it was be done to be taken care of the house. All right, there are some specific guidelines as to when it is appropriate for corrective treatment to be recommended. Corrective treatment may only be recommended: 1, there is visible evidence of active infestation in or on the structure. In or on the structure. 2, there is visible evidence of previous infestation with no evidence of prior treatment. So basically, if they find termites outside on a wood pile outside the house, they can't really recommend a treatment. It has to be, in the state of Texas, it has to be in or on the structure that the active infestation is, or a previous infestation and there have been no signs of treatment, whatever that organism that they're treating for. Those are just some of the things that we're going to go over, I went over today. Again, if you have questions on this form or any type of questions at all, you can look at my website at sitwithbob.com or contact me at bob@sitwithbob.com. bob@sitwithbob.com and my email address. If you want to set up a Zoom meeting, please do that also. Thank you.
Bob is available to answer your questions and concerns about your urban pest control issues. Reach out to Bob by emailing him at bob@sitwithbob.com. Bob Sprague is not an attorney, or does he provide legal advice, nor does he treat or spray for pests. He does not consult specifically about bedbugs. Bob is not a toxicologist or able to provide specific advice regarding toxicology.